So the casino, yes, will bring tourists. It's not not gonna bring tourists. It will add to the list of things I can do in Iraq. But will it be the first motivator?
Are you still that hustler who started off, in the industry when you were 17, or has everything sort of like changed for you?
It also made me incredibly sad that you had to shrink to fit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think Gen Zs today would even do that, or would you even do it?
I drove a fancy car back then, right?
Yeah.
He drove even a fancier car than me. They're very passionate about their country, like the Omanis, like you in India. Everybody is so passionate about their
Yes,
country.
Kerala too.
Yes.
Yes.
Kerala. The Mallus are so
Mallus.
passionate.
Please welcome Haitham Mattar, Managing Director of IHG Hotels and Resorts. Haitham oversees the region Southwest Asia, Middle East, as well as Africa. He leads over 200 hotels that employs 24,000 people. Welcome to our show, Haitham. So delighted to have you.
Thank you. So delighted to be here.
Yes.
Haitham, can I just tell you a secret? Actually, it's not a secret. My summer read was this: Pots, Pans, and 5-Year Plans.
Lovely.
It's a perfect.
Thank you. And it matches your
summer
dress.
read.
Look at that. How did you
Yes,
do that?
I really went to town with it. But I have to tell you, listen, I'm fun people, but on a holiday. But this was such a great book
Thank you.
because,
Yes.
my biggest takeaway was once a dishwasher, always a dishwasher.
Oh, hey, I always
Yeah.
say that. Once a dishwasher, always a dishwasher.
But
Absolutely.
your journey is incredible.
Oh, thank
From
you.
a dishwasher to a CEO, and you've worked your way up the trenches. That's what I love about you,
Thank you.
and the book. Please read it, guys. This is one thing you will not regret. It's on my list of recommendations.
Thank
but
you.
go for it, Haitham.
Thank you.
Do you think that?
Dish room to boardroom.
Yes.
I always say, look, the only thing that I'm not doing is not wearing my apron. But I'm in an air-conditioned boardroom now instead of a very hot and sweaty dish room.
Yeah.
It was an amazing journey. I tell you, there's a lot of learnings along the way, failures, successes. But you learn more from your failures. The successes you unfortunately don't learn from, but a little bit.
Yeah.
And I started when I was 17 years old. So a lot of people today probably don't start at that age, or some do.
Yes.
Gen Z is not necessarily starting to work at that age.
Haitham, all said and done, your journey to the top was not easy. You had, multiple challenges across the way, including, I think, one of the biggest that I saw, or I read in your book, was that health scare you faced, right?
Yes.
Like you suffered a pretty near fatal health scare. So how has that experience sort of alter your definition of work-life balance?
Mm-hmm.
How do you, are you still that hustler who started off, in the industry when you were 17, or has everything sort of like changed for you?
No, look, a lot of things have changed, and you're right. I went into the hospital. I drove myself to the hospital. I was always very fit. I was very healthy, and rode bicycles and did indoor cycling, very high intensity exercises, and it was a bit of a shock for me. You get the shock of I'm indestructible, invincible, I'm strong, I'm fit, and suddenly you sit with a doctor who tells you I got bad news, right? And you go, what? And he tells you the news that you got, you have to go under the knife and you have a 50% chance. So you're thinking, are you kidding me? Is this a lie? It's impossible.
Okay.
So look, I spent the whole night in the hospital researching, just really understanding what this is about. How could this happen to me? But I immediately shifted to, we're going to go through this, right? So I went through this process, going in thinking 50% chance, but my mind was focused on the 50 coming back,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You got to put your mindset going, I'm going in, but I'm going to take the 50 coming back. And, look, God has given me another chance, is the way I look at it, right? I gave me that 50% chance, I come back. And what I call myself Haitham version 2.0 right now.
Oh,
And
wow.
2.0 as in my thinking, my ways of working, my health, my fitness. I have upgraded everything on my performance, whether it's at work, my performance, whether it's exercise and health. And I've improved, in many ways, the way I value work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I try to instill this in the environment I work in, right? So for example, one of the things we have probably unique to the companies here in the region, in Dubai, is we allow people to come into the office we're never in the morning. So what I say to them is,
okay.
look,
That's pretty cool.
Do you have a
I
job?
want
not-
you as my
Yeah.
boss.
Can we apply?
He seems like a dream boss.
I say we don't work in factories like they did in the 60s. So more
Yes.
hours, more production, right?
Right.
We are in an environment where after COVID or during COVID, sorry, people have developed hobbies. So when they came back from COVID, I said, look, if you have a hobby, keep it. If you have something that you do in the morning, keep it. And if you have to be in the office at 10, then it's fine, right? And if you have to leave because you have to pick up your kids from school, it's fine. And if you don't feel like coming back and you want to finish from home, that's fine too. But if you
The
come
flexibility.
flexibility, yeah. And
love
if you leave
that.
at 4, it's okay. And if you leave at 5, and if you think, hey, it's a busy day, I need to stay to 7, you make that decision. It's yours. We don't, ask you, when did you come in and when did you leave? That's not policing people. When I look at productivity, right? So we talk at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, how are we doing? And if somebody tends to work from home a lot, doesn't show up enough, yet has low productivity, we're gonna have a conversation. But if you're sitting on the beach and in the mall, but you're still overproducing and you're doing amazing and you're bringing all the profits the company is looking for, then hey, keep doing it. Whatever you're doing, you're doing something right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I have to tell you, when I was reading the book, there's one chapter that spoke to me, the one about toxic bosses. You had one,
Yeah.
and you shrunk to fit his idea. You almost mirrored the way perhaps you dressed down.
Correct.
And I think it was a coach who told you this is how you could perhaps
Absolutely.
appeal to him.
Correct.
It gave me a life hack. I really learned something from it, but it also made me incredibly sad that you had to shrink to fit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think Gen Zs today would even do that, or would you even do it?
Yeah,
Like
look,
it made me sad, that chapter.
The message there is the hack. The message there is not about me having to dress down. The message there is having to understand what are the triggers for people, whether it's your boss, your partner, your wife, your husband. What are the triggers? There are triggers that make people behave in certain ways. And if those triggers cost you nothing, right, to remove, then why not? It's like people with anxiety. So if I'm anxious about something and I need you to tell me and you don't tell me because your ego is saying, who are you for me to tell you? I'm not going to tell you. What you're doing is just you're flaring that anxiety more.
Yeah, you're
Now-
withholding information
Yeah.
and you get worked up.
And it's probably something nothing. It's just your ego saying, well, what do I want to tell him? I don't need to tell you because who are you, right? Now, if you drop the ego fence and you say, you know what, it's not going to, I'll tell you, here, sit down, here's the story. You remove that anxiety, but then in future, other discussions will have less anxiety until that trust is built between you and that person, right? So similarly, the message there is not about me having to dress down, it's about me really just dropping my fences on areas that don't necessarily impact.
It didn't hurt you so much.
It didn't hurt
the
me.
bigger picture.
Losing the tie or the handkerchief didn't really make me lose my identity per se, right?
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it brought me closer to someone who was the boss, right? And who saw me, in his words, as a poser.
Yeah.
Because I was overdressed. Now I just like to dress. I like to see people. People see me. I see owners, and I thought part of
Yes.
my job in hospitality
Yeah.
is to dress,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, and I've come from the hotels where as a waiter you had to.
And you have to look the part.
You have to look
You
the
have
part.
to
Yeah.
look the
Yeah,
part.
you had to-
I'm in that school.
And I worked in some fancy restaurants,
Yes,
so you
yeah.
had to really dress
Crisp.
up. Your apron had to be, your tablecloth
Spotless.
has to be no wrinkles, right? All of that.
Yes, right.
You're meticulous.
Right.
So that carries on with you throughout, but you realize when you come into a corporate culture where people comes from all walks of earth, they haven't really gone through the same journey I have,
Right.
right? They could have been in a blue chip company and then ended up with ISG or came to ISG from that blue chip company, which had absolutely nothing to do with hotel operations.
Yeah.
So their perspective on everything, including dress code, is different, right? So it's important that you see people the way they see you as well, right? You have to. I read something once which was really intriguing for me. A guy said, we are 1,000 versions of us in the minds of people, and unfortunately, you have no control of what version of you they put in their mind,
Right.
Because they would have seen you, for example, for that moment, for that minute, for that dinner, for that cocktail reception, and whatever mood you're in that time, you could be shy at this cocktail reception. So you could be, uncomfortable.
Or
You could be tired.
gregarious.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah?
Yeah.
So then they form that image of you in their mind, and you have no control of that. So that becomes your story in their mind, and then you have 1,000 stories, right, in 1,000 people's minds. But it's only up to you to create your own story, right, and
Yeah.
put those stories together, because it's how you show up, right? How do you show up to make sure that your story is seen every time consistently in front of everybody?
Right. And you took back the narrative, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the coach may have guided you a
He
bit.
did,
Yeah.
of course.
But I would say that you're a hustler with a heart, for the simple reason you know what's important to you, and your goalpost is very. I
Yeah.
also saw intent there.
Yes.
You're like, I'm not going to quit a company over a person or a manager. I'm going to quit because I want to quit. I saw that strain in that book where
That's
you're
true.
like, I'm not going to quit for people.
That's
it's going to be
true.
because I want to do so.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I think that's a
But
very important
was it-
takeaway, right?
It is. It's a very interesting takeaway as well. But it wasn't just about dressing down, right? Like, did you have to hold back in terms of your full capabilities as a leader? Like, was that something that you had to do at that time? No.
No.
Or is it just like
No,
the
no,
outfit?
no. So I drove a fancy car back then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He drove even a fancier car than me, right? But it was just because it's me, the way I dressed, the confidence I had,
Yeah.
the way I showed up, the car, all of that combined in his mind. Yeah, he saw me as a poser, regardless of how humble I could be in front of a doorman or whatever. In his mind, I'm a poser, right?
Yeah.
And regardless if 20 people tell him he's a humble man, we see him how he talks to the waiters and
Yes.
no, he's a poser. So first thing, if you remember, is I sold the car. Yeah.
And he
Okay.
actually
Yeah.
told the people I needed the money.
Yeah.
And that
get
made
rid of the car.
his toxic boss
Yeah.
super happy.
He was happy.
Yeah.
So I got rid of the car.
That's
He got to
smart.
keep his fancy car, right? And I dressed down. But I didn't lose anything by doing that.
Yeah.
And because I prioritized my career over a fancy car. Over to set my point that this is the way I dress, whether he likes it or not. You could
Yes.
have that mindset.
Yeah.
He either likes me the way I am or nothing, right? So I thought,
You
look,
could have gone that
I
way,
could have
but you
gone that
didn't.
way. No,
Yeah.
because why? Look, I invested at the time a lot with the company, and I had been with them, for quite some time, right? By the
Yeah.
time he joined in, so I'd have been 9 or 10 years in the company when he joined. So when he joined, he had that huge impact on me, And I thought, I'm not going to lose all this time I invested because of a person, right? But let me work on trying to convert him, bring him back towards me. But I have to say, I had a lot of help from the HR vice president at the time, lovely lady,
Yes.
who knew him very well, and she guided me throughout this whole process, right? And she would talk to him to say, look, I think you have a misperception about Haitham. You need to give him time. You need to listen to him. And then she told me once, you need to go and tell him that you have a stone in your shoe and you want to talk to him about it. So I said, look, I got a stone in my shoe. I want to address this with you. And I said, look, we don't seem to see eye to eye. So what is it gonna take? And you could see him just go. This guy was egocentric.
Yeah.
He was flamboyant. He was sometimes rude, and suddenly he became very gentle.
Yes.
Just because I said, what is it gonna take? So he realized this poser is someone who's coming to say, hey look,
Yes.
how can we
Work together.
You got
work together.
vulnerable, basically.
I did.
Yes.
I did,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I got
I think
more
that- and it paid
vulnerable.
off.
It did. More vulnerable when I met with a coach the first time and the second time, and meeting with the coach. It was a lot of emotional moments as we went through these discussions. It's almost like a psychologist, therapist talking to you about, your behaviors and how you. And remember, you've probably seen this in books. So I was with the company 9 years, and out of the 9 years, if I remember correctly, at least 6 years, I was winning awards every single year. So I'm this top performer, right? Creative, marketing, activity of the year, this of the year,
You were
that.
too good.
I was
Yeah.
no.
That's it.
I just worked hard.
Don't say no after
I worked
listing
hard.
out
Yes,
like this.
I won all the awards.
list.
You're
No,
amazing at your job, and that got to his goal.
The workplace has changed now. Attitudes have
Oh, yeah.
changed. Young people come with a different vibe or different energy. Nothing is the same, right?
know.
And now you have the artificial intelligence boom, and kids are all into it. So in that context, do you think your experiences from that time, does it apply to the kids of today?
Oh no.
Who you work
Oh no.
with?
Listen, I worked under 2 dictatorships and very, very, very toxic leaders. To be two had a
Two, yes.
significant impact on me. But those were great learnings for me to shape my leadership style and to account for today's generation and how they like to be led, right? I know for sure if I applied that leadership style, I would probably lose a lot of people. No one would want to work with me for sure.
Yeah.
But today, in the past, for example, a CEO or a MD or a director would not listen to the manager's advice because he's a child. What are you talking about? You don't have the experience. But today, we listen to the young generation because they see the workplace and the world from a different lens.
Yes, they do.
And you've got to listen to them, whether you act on everything or you don't, but you got to listen because they might have some ideas you haven't thought about, believe it or not, and some ideas that are totally left field. Oh, wow, I didn't think about that. But that's because they are exposed to so much more than we are, right? They see things differently, and they apply a different type of logic to problem solving than we are. Plus, this generation is confrontational.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
very.
they won't take things
Yeah,
lying
they
down
don't,
like
no.
how.
No, if
I
they're
think
not
they would
comfortable
confront
doing
you,
so-
and I think they would quit.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
lovely
Yeah.
quitters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're so quick to quit. I love that.
Absolutely.
I'm like, at least they know what they don't want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I'm very envious of that. I've been
Yeah.
with Gulfies for 19 years.
Yes.
I've had my share of interesting and capable and inspiring and not so inspiring leaders.
Yeah.
But thing is, I will not quit sometimes because I love my job. They're not like that. They're like, I'll find another hustle.
That's true.
I love that kind of confidence the
Yeah.
That's
Gen Zs have,
100%,
right?
yeah.
They don't work, they don't come on time. They don't do half their tasks. Check the confidence. Man, that's the confidence I need.
But you know what? If you just forget about them coming on time, just allow them to come and leave as they wish.
Yes.
But instill the performance objective in their mind. So you go when you want, come, but make it clear. This is the target.
Yes.
That's what we need to do. Here's the project. If they finish the project in 30 minutes or 3 hours, it's not your business. You just want the project done at this deadline.
Right.
And you'll see a major change in retaining this generation, because and look, they want trust until proven guilty, right? Our generation was, you're guilty
Yes.
until
They-
proven
yeah,
innocent.
that's how they governed us. I mean,
Yes.
like my parents governed me that way, right?
Yeah.
Like through that whole guilt,
Oh my
right?
God,
To the
guilt was real.
extent that if you're totally innocent,
Yeah.
you start to believe that you're not.
Oh, yeah, I must have done something.
You did it, and you go,
they gaslight
I
you.
did. No, you did.
See,
Yes, I did.
Our parents gaslit us before the term was coined.
Yeah.
They were
Absolutely.
the OG gaslighters.
Absolutely.
Right.
And
We
no,
didn't even know it.
the times I walked away believing I did something I never did, I can't explain to you. I always say it's not what I did, it's what I'm accused of.
That kind of decides your life.
Oh man, thank God all of that is gone.
Speaking of success, you are the person who brought in the world's longest zip
zip
lines in
line.
Ras Al
Line.
Khaimah.
Oh, wow.
Well done, you.
What a journey.
Yes, what a journey. And you did that.
I did
you
that.
saw potential in Ras Al Khaimah
I did.
long before anybody did. And we thank you for that.
thank you.
But more importantly, your first love was always hospitality.
It was.
What motivated you to come back? At some point, did you fall out of love with hospitality?
I didn't, but listen, the opportunity that came for me to join Ras Al Khaimah's tourism was one in a lifetime. To work with a ruler, directly report to him. It's almost ministerial level because, I was appointed by an Emiri decree. The trust he's put in me, the empowerment that he gave me, the exposure, whether it's for me personally, for my brand, or for Ras Al Khaimah, right? CNN, Richard Quest, BBC, CNBC, every news channel, I was on it, right? That was an absolute opportunity, just a phenomenal opportunity and a great journey. And I did 5 years of, putting the destination on the map, working under the guidance of His Highness, the ruler, his trust in me to deliver on the strategy. So the first thing we did is put a 10-year strategy and then put an execution plan. And he was generous in everything we asked for, because he could see it was his vision, and he could see that we could deliver on that vision through the strategy, through the communication, through the partnerships that we brought in. Emirates Airlines, first time I saw the Emirates Airlines a business class car going to Ras Al Khaimah. I was taking pictures.
He was so excited.
They have arrived.
So excited. But he made it happen. He went to them and saying, "Listen, we're not your threat. I love the
I wanna work
conversation
with
you
you.
had. Yes,
Yeah, I wanna
you know,
work
work
with
with me." What I love about your style of working as well is you go to people, you talk to them.
Absolutely.
That importance of just having a conversation,
yeah.
breaking the ice. Because most of them, like you said, they thought you were out to get them. You went and told Dubai, "Listen, Ras Al Khaimah is just a small
Yeah,
brother.
absolutely.
Treat us like your cousin."
Absolutely.
And I thought that conversation was so real.
Yeah.
And that's how you get most of your things done your way, don't you? With charm.
Yes.
You kill with kindness, don't you?
Kindness. Kill with kindness, but also, yeah, but you're right. I like to face people and have a conversation, right? And lay the facts. You know, when I say, look, we're your little brother. I would never do anything you don't want me to do, right? I'm going to focus on outdoor and adventure, which you don't have, right? We didn't have Hatta then. Hatta was born after, right? So that gave that confidence. Says, you know what? Let's help. You know, and Emirates Airlines was my biggest supporter, because how am I going to bring all these tourists to the small airport with low-cost carriers only, right? And we needed to bring in the Eastern European markets, and it was only a 45 to 50-minute drive.
That's true.
It was a no-brainer, you know, for us to work with. And also we did this stopover program, so people flying in and connecting to other countries. Yeah, for example, a lot of people who fly to Mauritius come through Dubai, right?
Yeah.
So we did this stopover program where people could go a night in Dubai and a night in Iraq, or 2 and 2, whatever, you know, whatever they're offering. All these were part of the successful journey that we had in Ras Al Khaimah. So, long story short, the motivation was for me to explore something, because hospitality is part of the parcel of tourism, right?
Yes,
But-
very important.
And I learned about airlines, which I didn't know. I had no clue how airlines develop routes. You know, how do you develop routes from one city to the other? How long it takes to develop routes? And then I got connected into the UNWTO, and I came in and worked my way through even UNWTO. I became vice chairman of the affiliates members and board of affiliates. I became vice chairman of that by elect.
Yeah.
I was elected by other affiliates, and also I worked very close with the director general, who then appointed me as an advisor to them on sustainable tourism. And I had a keen interest on sustainability and sustainability, which is why the zip line, the nature, the adventure. Ras Al Khaimah would just it had everything to give to sustainability because of the natural assets, the wildlife. It was just beautiful. So that I went from hospitality to tourism, but I didn't really leave hospitality because my job was to fill the hotels. And so everything was related to hospitality, but I was just working I was working in a government role that encompassed all parcels of tourism, including hospitality. When I left Ras Al Khaimah after 5 years, I went to Saudi Arabia. And why did I go to Saudi? Because I was working in this beautiful village of Ras Al Khaimah, unknown at the time, right?
Obscure.
Go to Saudi, which is very well known, but comes with a lot of baggage. So you have to work on, changing perceptions, exploring all the culture, heritage sides, historical sides, the heritage they offer, the outdoor, the adventure. And how do you showcase that to the world, right? I mean, and moving from a population of 350,000 people to 35 million people, right? Almost a continent. It's the 12th largest country in the world, Saudi Arabia. So that for me was, something that's multiplied 1,000 to go and explore my learnings in Ras Al Khaimah in Saudi Arabia and apply it in Saudi Arabia. And whilst the Saudis thought they were learning from me, little did they know I was learning from them. Right?
And I think the whole approach that you took with Saudi Arabia, boosting domestic tourism, I think in that way it really worked, because I think people in Saudi Arabia did not know that it snows there.
Yes,
right?
They were surprised by the
Yes.
stuff that you told them.
Yes.
It's happening in our country.
Snows
in our
there,
country,
yeah. And I remember that whole scene with the minister where I said, I want to do a video with snow and camels in the snow. And he said, why would people want to see snow in Saudi Arabia? I said, because they only think you're desert. We've got to show them snow. And that's when the campaign Winter in Saudi Arabia came out.
And then,
So I personally brought the people, the models, even the slaves. We had to bring them with them from Italy so we could take the photo shoot, right? But it was just like something that we started in the beginning, where the Saudis themselves were learning about their own country, Yeah, they didn't know. Some of them didn't know they had all these, because the first thing the Saudis used to do on holidays is leave Saudi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come
they
here.
just
Yeah.
come here, go everywhere, go to Europe, come
Yeah.
here. Yeah,
Go to
but
Bali.
now they're so fascinated by their own country. They want to explore. Oh, we have this, we have
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
We didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so yeah, they, of course, and they're very passionate about their country, like the Omanis, like like you in India. Everybody's so passionate about their
Yes,
country. Right?
Kerala too.
Yes,
Yes.
Kerala, the Mallus are so
Mallus.
passionate.
Haitham, the fact that you call me a Malu, I'm touched. I'm glad. My education is complete with you.
There is going to be this giant explosion of tourists and a new breed of tourists, right? Like with all of the gaming resorts that's going to come up in Ras Al Khaimah, and hopefully in other parts of the UAE as well. So, and this crowd is the one, your Vegas hopping, Macau hopping. How prepared do you think we are for that new influx of these new tourists?
Well, look, I tell you what. I think along with the casino, there was a lot of work on the infrastructure, right?
Yeah,
That was there are bridges now. There's new roads, and there's also a new plan of road infrastructure that's still being developed for Ras Al Khaimah, and the connectivity between Dubai or the rest of the Emirates to Iraq has improved tremendously now. Even the roads that you go to the mountain, to Jebel Jais, I mean, you have a beautiful new road. You don't go into the city, you straighten it up into the mountains. So there's a lot of investment made on the infrastructure, right? The connectivity, the train that will come up soon. So there's a lot of work to really improve people's transportation and connectivity.
Yes.
Now, Ras Al Khaimah didn't necessarily need the casino for tourism. It has a lot more going to it in terms of culture and heritage, history, outdoor and adventure, nature. I mean, Ras Al Khaimah has natural beauty is incredible, right? And the tourism to Ras Al Khaimah, the 10-year plan that we had put together back when I was there in 2015 to 2025. Of course, COVID came in and slowed down a lot of things, but the goal was to reach 3 million visitors by 2025. That's the size of a country like Oman. Oman has 3 million. So the small emirate of Ras Al Khaimah, is set to receive 3 million visitors. And I think recently they announced that they reached about 2 million. When I left, they were at 1.2 already. So there's a lot of potential. And if you look at what we call the motivators of travel, research shows, there's top 10 motivators of travel. Casino is not one of them. It is not one of them. No.
Okay.
So,
Really?
Oh, I'd
if you look
realized.
at the top three, for example, right? The top three is beach, sun, and sand, culture, heritage, and historical size,
Right.
Outdoor and adventure. So,
Okay.
so these are the top three
motivators.
motivators.
And RAC ticks
And
all
then-
of them anyway.
Yeah. it
Absolutely,
does,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. RAC has got the top three, right? Now, one of the top four is retail or shopping. People travel for shopping. They go to Europe for that, perhaps. Dubai tried to do that route a long time ago, if you remember, with the biggest shopping mall in the world. And I think people come here to shop, but I think the prices in Europe and the VAT and all that is still more attractive. So even people from here still go to Europe to shop. Although we have a huge selection in Dubai and Dubai Mall, you got the biggest mall in the world and the second biggest mall in the world here, right? In
Yes.
Dubai,
Yeah,
the Dubai
yeah.
Mall and Mall of Emirates. Yeah. So I think Dubai is so diverse in its offering. Ras Al Khaimah is specific, nature, outdoor, adventure,
And
now the casino.
casino.
I think the casino was a great real estate play. It helped build the Emirates' real estate infrastructure.
For sure.
It's true. It's
Yes.
true.
Right,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
People wanted to invest. They smartly developed apartments and villas, on the beach and beachfront, and started to sell these because the value of this real estate will double, quadruple, whatever, when the casino is open.
Right.
Right? So that was a very smart real estate play on the casino. Now,
I never thought of it that
Yeah,
way.
I never thought of it
Yeah.
that
of course,
way.
it's so
Not just the hotels. Even
yeah.
the
So
real
the
estate.
casino, yes,
Yeah.
will bring tourists. It's not gonna bring tourists. It will add to the list of things I can do in RAC. But will it be the first motivator? So if I'm sitting in a country X, do I want to go to RAC just because there's a casino? Maybe. But how many people will do that versus I want to go to the beach? So because if you look at people who do searches, right? I want to go to the beach. You say, where can I go to the beach, right? To a beach destination. And you look up and you get Seychelles and you get Mauritius and then you get RAC. Right, and now with the offerings, with the Intercontinental and Ras Al Khaimah, you've got so many other brands available on the beach, right, with great offerings.
True.
And it's only 45, 50 an hour away from Dubai.
Yeah.
So you could do the beach, sun and sand if you want, and you want to go shopping and be in the biggest mall in the world, you take a car. Most hotels in Iraq bring you here anyway to do shopping and come back, right? So that's a double whammy. You're visiting two different Emirates. You don't, if you go in the Mauritius, you're in the Mauritius, right? You might go to Port Louis, the city, and see a couple of things, but you're back on the beach, right? If you're in the Seychelles, you're confined to the islands.
Yeah.
Here, you have so much to do.
Yeah.
Whether you do the dining scene in Dubai and go back to Iraq and do your beach or whatever. So I think Iraq has so much to offer over and above the casino. I think the casino will be a great addition, but not necessarily the biggest play.
Let us sort of address the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
I love me a good staycation. Manjusha and I have been here for decades now. But for some reason, even in peak summer, the prices don't seem to be coming down, right?
We can't even afford a garden.
And that is despite the sheer volume of new hotels that are cropping up. Like Dubai itself, and the potential is endless. There are more and more that are going to come. So what's your take on that, on price?
My take is you should go to the heart of Europe where we have Voco, which is well priced.
No, but it's still a life hack, guys.
Yeah.
Go to Voco.
So go to Voco. So look, I tell you, look, the strategy that Dubai has applied since 2004, that's how far I remember, the whole supply-demand strategy has been so smart. In 2004, we had the opening or the market entry of the Fairmont, the Emirates Towers, the Grand Hyatt, and the one and only was already there, or was there, I think, at the time. But people were saying, why are they opening all these hotels? Like, for who? I was at the Intercontinental on the Creek, the original in Dubai back then.
Yes.
And we were all worried, panicking that we're going to lose share, right? People are going to go to the new hotels. But you know what? Demand, consistency. We never had these drops. And if we had minor drops, it would pick right back up. So throughout the years, we had so many hotels enter Dubai, but the supply and demand strategy has been so consistent because they always managed to create demand, whether it's new markets, existing markets,
The summer campaigns.
the summer campaigns
summer
that
Winter
Dubai is doing.
campaigns, yeah.
And I think it's the only city in the world that, at least in my region, I know, right, in my region, where the tourism board, His Excellency Haitham, connect with the private sector so closely. We meet every month for breakfast.
Oh.
And it was me, it's Sandeep, the CEO of Marriott, it's Guy from Hilton, it's Duncan from Accor. No exception. All the brands. We all meet,
That's brilliant.
and we talk to Hilal and Issam about how our hotels performing in Dubai, right? How do we see Ramadan demand? How do we see the summer demand? What markets are we interested in? Can we combine our marketing dollars with their marketing dollars and create campaigns, right? I've signed an MOU with the tourism board recently, which is mainly a marketing, co-marketing activity or strategy for us to enter markets together, right? Because we spend money on marketing our hotels. They spend money on the destination. So what a smart way. Let's combine it and make the effort bigger.
Yeah.
So that's where they are so smart in creating demand. Hence, you see the summer. So the summer used to be where less people came from abroad, and it was mainly the people of the UAE who couldn't afford, let's say, to travel abroad.
Yes.
Right? Couldn't afford. So they just stay because they have a lot of kids, and we'll just go to Iraq or to Abu Dhabi, and you go to the Intercon, and you go, and you spend the day at the pool, and you have lunch, and it was a great family activity for the weekend, and off you go, right? Yeah. But now it's different because now the demand from abroad is still coming. You still have, Europeans who don't mind coming to Dubai, even though it's 40 degrees or whatever, because it's now 40 degrees in London, right?
Right.
So they don't mind, and they still enjoy the indoor, the shopping, the beach. Even in the summer, you can still go to the beach if you're early in the morning, late in the evening. If you manage, your time well, and you're in the pool, and you go to the pools and they're full, like you were saying. So I think it's really testament to the amount of work they're doing, and I'm not saying that staycations should be cheap. Don't get me wrong, because the demand is there. And if you're paying for a hotel room, $250 in the summer, and then you're paying 250 dirhams in the summer, and then 600 dirhams in the winter for the same room, how do you feel? Why? Right? I just paid
That happens
$250.
to us a lot.
Yeah.
We are looking for windowless rooms, but yeah.
Windowless rooms.
No, but
So-
She started off with garden view, and
then,
I'm like,
then I'm
no,
like, no, we
go
can't
down,
Go down.
further
I'm like,
down.
windowless rooms
Yeah.
by the corridor. No, but seriously, how do I get an upgrade, Haitham? You have worked in the industry for so long. Is there like a life hack to it?
Look, the best.
And listen up, guys. This is
Yeah,
important.
the best life hack, and I say this genuinely, is to make sure that you have a loyalty program with whoever is your preferred brand, right? Take IHG One Rewards. You are so well rewarded for every stay. Your points will help you upgrade, and then when you go to the next level, it's an automatic upgrade, right? And your status is what earns you the upgrade. So I'm sorry, but you're not going to have a connection at every hotel you go. You might
Yes.
have one hotel where you met the GM and you're connected, then the next time you call them, they'll take care of you and give you a better. But it's not going to be worldwide. And if you travel worldwide
Loyalty.
and you earn your upgrades because you have that loyalty program, and IHG One Rewards is probably one of the best platforms that we have in the industry, and also it rewards you in food and beverage. You can earn points and redeem them right there instantly. You can even redeem points for upgrades.
Right.
But also your status gives you upgrades. And by the way, I'm treated just like any other guest. I'm not treated like the company's MD, by the way.
Really?
No.
I'm not.
Oh.
I'm treated by my loyalty program. So I have a loyalty card just like everybody else, right?
Yes.
And my status, I just reached Diamond Elite recently because I've stayed over 80 nights this year.
Okay.
So you have to do that to achieve. But with my travel and all, I managed to achieve it again this year. So when I come to the hotel, they welcome me to say, thank you for being a Diamond Elite member, and we have upgraded you to the next level room. So sometimes if I book an executive room, they give me an executive
It's not
suite.
because you work there. It's
not
just
because I work
of your
there.
card.
No, it's
Oh,
because
that's
of my card.
interesting. Is there a disruptive trend?
Trend that's
Yes, you have to-
worrying you right now.
So no, look, I don't think there's a disruptive trend that is worrying or alarming. On the contrary, I think there's a lot of disruptive trends that are complementing, all right? Whether it's the industry as a whole, or whether in hotels, for example, right? And I think, look, a lot of the young generation is causing a lot of these disruptive trends. For example, they're focused on sustainability because they want to be included. They want to contribute to the
planet Earth, yeah.
to society. They want to be part of that journey, right? So they want to book hotels that execute on their sustainable strategy, not just say, oh, I have a sustainability goal and a sustainability strategy, but they want to see it in action and they want to be part of it. So when they come in and you make them responsible, they'd love to be part of that journey as well.
Yeah.
So that's a trend where some may overlook, but it is a growing trend. And as this young generation grows up and don't want to stay in their father's hotel or the hotel where their father used to stay at, they want to they want to see hotels that are practicing these sustainable practices.
You spoke quite a bit about Dubai as an offering. I mean, and the various offerings it has, right? I mean, I wanted to add there's also safety, right? That's one of the biggest draws for tourists as well, right?
Sure.
But I know you've told me that demand has remained quite sustainable for the longest time. But this year has been turbulent. We've had multiple geopolitical issues. There were flight cancellations, just before summer hit, and that I think in a way discouraged a lot of people from wanting to travel out. How has the sector fared, do you think, in these past 2 quarters especially? And did you see a considerable dip in any kind of demand? And how did you sort of recover from it?
I don't know if you were able to see our results that were
we
in
did.
the-
You did
We did.
excellently.
Congratulations.
So
Yes,
there you go.
yeah.
First half
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
They
And
made
your
profits.
region did one of
Yeah,
the best.
yeah.
Absolutely, one of the best
Congratulations.
performing regions, and the top performers of this region are the UAE, Dubai in particular,
Yes.
right? Saudi Arabia, and India, in my region. Those were the top performers in trading, right? So despite what we think is, if you find a hotel in Dubai that tells you they had a bad summer, ask them to call me.
Call Haitham.
Are you going to be?
I'd like to
yeah,
understand. I'd like to understand how.
How?
We've had a great summer
Okay.
across all our hotels, and we have hotels in different locations. We're not sitting in one location that's a huge advantage. We are in Business Bay, we are on the Palm, we are in Festival City. We're diverse around the city, so our locations across the entire city has done extremely well. And I tell you, for example, the Intercontinental Crown Plaza Holiday Inn, Festival City, and the residences. There's 1,000 keys in that vicinity. 1,000 keys in that vicinity, and they were running north of 80%, even in
Wow.
the summer,
Okay.
because conferences continued to come. Right, the MICE business continued to come because tourists from Saudi Arabia, the Gulf, continued to come. Yeah, that demand continued to grow throughout the summer, and a lot of people come to Dubai in the summer, even if they do 2, 3, 4 nights before they hop over to Europe. Right,
Yeah.
so they come here from the Gulf countries
Yes.
because most of the Gulf airlines are not necessarily great in terms of connectivity. So Emirates remains to be the top
Yes.
True.
choice.
Yeah,
It's a brand that everybody loves. So they prefer to come here, take Emirates to a long haul. It's an 8-hour flight, 7 if you're going to Europe, right? So they come here and say, we're in Dubai. Let's do 3-4 days. We do a bit of shopping, a bit of dining, and then we're off to Europe. That's the trend that you see today in the summer.
The hopovers.
The
right?
hopover,
The
yeah.
Oh, I love that.
stopovers,
You
yeah.
know, my
stop- and-
friend
and
from
that's-
Germany stopped here for 2 nights.
There you go.
Stayed with me. We had a great time. She went to India.
There
Yeah,
you go.
and I think that
They
game,
opt for it. They actually wait for those flights to book,
Yeah.
and a year in advance they do it.
Absolutely,
and that
yeah.
It's
game
all
is
planned
going
out.
to become a lot more intense once the pan-GCC visas, tourism visas
Oh,
are
absolutely.
launched, right?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a very exciting
Absolutely.
opportunity.
And listen, Dubai itself has, and now more in Abu Dhabi, has so many attractions. I mean, every year Dubai introduces a new attraction.
Yeah.
Right?
Now you have Disneyland coming
Oh,
to
There you
Abu
go.
Dhabi.
To
Yeah,
Abu
that's
Dhabi.
going to
be a huge
The museum of the future. If you don't book 4 or 5 weeks in advance, good luck trying to get a ticket, right? So there you go. People now book before they come here because they want to go and see
That's
it.
what we want.
That's
I
what
mean,
we
that's what the ideally should be. They should plan an itinerary and spend all the money here.
You know what I love is, I was in one of these meetings, but one of these meetings that we do at breakfast with Haitham to talk about the industry as a whole. Maher Zulfar, who is the SVP for the Dubai World Trade Center, is actually in this meeting with us. And he said something to me that just resonated and I couldn't forget anymore. He said he's bidding now for events 2034.
Wow.
No way, really?
Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
Yeah.
Dubai is bidding for events, conferences
That's how.
for 2034. This is how far they're booking. It's not next year. It's not the year after. 2034 calendar. He's filling his 2034. What does that tell me? His calendar now is full of events for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years.
Shall we move to the rapid fire,
Yes,
guys?
please.
Let's have some fun questions.
Oh,
yes?
well done.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay, let me
Dansha?
prep up for it. We'll start with me.
Yes.
All right. Of all the IG hotels in the region you oversee, which is your favorite?
The Six Senses in Rome.
Is there any hotel in the UAE where you walk into the lobby and feel like you're playing the lead role in a Hollywood or a Bollywood movie?
Maybe I'm a little biased, but the Intercontinental Festival City.
What do you think is the biggest perk in your job?
Travel.
But how come you travel so much? What's the one thing that's always in your bag?
In my bag.
Yeah.
The first thing I pack is my gym clothes.
Last question. If you were to define your hustle in one word, what would it be?
Actually,
Positive.
rewarding makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You know why? Because throughout my career, whenever I felt I was hustling, I always have been rewarded, right? Because if you look at my journey, I've always been, promoted, given more responsibilities, being accountable. I think that's, to me, that was a reward. So I think.
Rewarding. Your
Yeah.
hustle has been rewarding.
Yeah.
Thank you
That's
so much. And
amazing.
I love reading about your hustle. I think everybody should read about
thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
his
Everyone
hustle.
grab your copy of
Yes.
Pots, Pans and 5-Year Plan.
It's so good.
by
It's so
Haitham
good.
Mattar.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
Lovely.
guys.
Thank you,
What a
ladies.
lovely conversation.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
We did too. We
Yes.
really enjoyed it. And
Excellent.
honestly, we were really looking forward to it as well.
Yes,
right?
she
Oh,
told
thank
me
you.
in this season,
Yes.
Haitham is like on top of my list.
Ah,
Person
thank you.
that
Thank
she
you.
really
Yeah.
look forward
What a
to.
pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah,
very
and
much.
it's also
I
gone.
cover hospitality aviation, so obviously we follow you very closely.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
And I cover Tom
appreciate
Cruise.
that.
You were really cool.
I don't stack up anyway close to
No,
him.
seriously, be in a movie. Next time, Bollywood guys will be like, we do need a Lebanese dude. The token Lebanese guy in a camel.
You have to see.
I do want to ask this to you. If someone were to play you in a biopic, who would it
Yes.
be?
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Who?
Bradley Cooper.
Oh yeah, I could imagine that.
You
With
look
a haircut,
like him.
Yeah,
Really?
100%,
I haven't had that
yeah.
one before.
With
Yeah.
a haircut, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I
It's
would-
not like long hair.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
No, but you have anybody in mind?
No, not really. Oh, when I was younger, well, in his younger age, it was Robert De Niro in his younger age.
Oh, from
Right.
Scarface.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
guy.
yeah. It was, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. But he's too harsh for you, I
He's too
feel.
harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit
Too
harsh.
nice.
He's very
Yeah.
taxi driverish.
Yeah. Too nice.
Thank you, Haitham.
No,
for your
thank you,
time.
ladies. I appreciate
Such a
it.
So much fun. Thank
It
you.
was.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
Thank you.